You want to talk about something real quick? We're going to do a little bit of politics. You guys want to do a tiny bit of politic? We can do a small amount of politic. We can politic. Yeah, smolitic. Tiny politic. You guys know about Texas? You heard about Texas before? We got any hot and toasty Texas frogs right now? What is Texas? Don't know. I heard it's shaped like stupid though. Ahaha, got him. Texas is a state run by Republicans, the main one being Greg Abbott. So Greg Abbott has been cracking down on schools, on restaurants, on businesses doing the evil work of the devil as having people wear masks and asking people to get vaccinated, because we all know that that's just pure evil. If you spend literally no time in your life thinking about it, okay? Greg Abbott's been passing law after law, as some other Republican states like Florida that has said that you cannot do things like mandate masks, mandate vaccines, trying to get people to filter back into schools, filter back into small areas where people get sick. And this has been causing a lot of problems because people have been getting sick. Incredible. Who could have seen this coming? Oh my gosh. And during a national pandemic, you stop people from asking people to wear masks and you stop people from getting vaccines. And then all of a sudden, and then you force them to go back into confined spaces where they mouth breathe at each other. And then they get sick. Who could have seen this coming? Well, I did. You did. Greg Abbott didn't, or he didn't care. That's more likely. But they've been fighting. They've been fighting. They're not going to go down without a fight. Greg Abbott throws a wild right hook and they dodge. All right. They're floating like a butterfly and they hit back with a liver shot because the rebellion is spreading. After local Texas officials defy his ban on mask mandates, Governor Greg Abbott begins to clamp down. So because Greg Abbott is the same as like other Republicans want to pretend like COVID is just over and it's gone and pretend like nothing's happening and we get back to the status quo while people are suffering and dying. Texas is one of these states where many people are suffering and their hospitals are actually filling up. As Texas students too young to get vaccinated head back to school while the highly contagious Delta variant threatens to overflow hospitals, a growing cadre of local government officials have mandated mask wearing in bids to slow the spread of COVID-19 to defy Governor Greg Abbott. This week, officials in Dallas and Bexar counties successfully sued for the right to again require masks in public schools and many government buildings, at least temporarily. Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins went a step farther Wednesday and mandated that child care centers and businesses must also require employees and customers to wear masks. We are all team public health and the enemy is the virus, Jenkins said. Right now, the enemy is winning. Other officials didn't bother with a court battle. Travis County went ahead Wednesday afternoon with an order requiring mask wearing in public schools. Some of the state's largest school districts, Austin, Houston, and Fort Worth, already plan to require students, teachers, and staff to don masks. A lot of this goes against the First Amendment rights of a lot of the businesses. It's pronounced Bear, not Bexar. That's pronounced Bear. No, I'm going to pronounce it Bexar. No, because I was gonna be like, oh, okay, you're right. Even if you're right, you're wrong. Okay, it's Bexar. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's like it's Pixar now, but with a B. Like, let's be completely honest. This shit's Bexar. This is spelled Bexar. This is not Bear. This is Bexar, or Bekar, or Bekar. All right, this is Bexar or Bekar. This is not Bear. So we're witnessing another Texas civil war because Greg Abbott and other state Republicans want to pretend like nothing's going on, as this is what they're looking at. On August 12th, 11,975 cases of COVID-19 every day. Almost, it's actually like 2/3 up to the amount that they were peaking at the peak of the pandemic when people were not wearing masks, where they were taking away a lot of pandemic related restrictions as people weren't getting vaccinated. This is the peak of the pandemic here in Texas, one of the states with the worst possible COVID case rates in the country. There are many counties who are fighting this at the moment because things are bad in Texas. We can say this and be like, haha, I got you, Greg Abbott. And we can say that Greg Abbott's bad, but it's not the same as visualizing what he's actually doing. We're dying. You're right. You are like, Texans are dying. They're literally dying. Dozens of Texas hospitals are out of ICU beds as COVID-19 cases begin to overwhelm the state's capacity. At least 53 of Texas hospitals have no available ICU capacity, according to numbers reported to the federal government during the week ending August 5th. In Austin, 5 hospitals were over 90% of their ICU capacity during the same period, with 2 reporting no available ICU beds. And it's only getting worse. This isn't the end of what's happening in Texas. This is the beginning. Because we're just now ticking up again with all these people, especially really heavy Republican state where lots of people don't want to get vaccinated. This is a state that's going to get absolutely crushed. And it's incredible to me that Republicans are just okay with watching their constituents just die. But the really big thing is that I'm not going to laugh at this. This isn't funny. It's not cute to have all these people die. For one, it's not just Republicans or like Fox News viewers or everyone dying. It is everyone they're around, everyone they're associated with, all of these people that they're in contact with can have the chance of getting COVID and if not dying, being hospitalized and their life being upended with massive amounts of hospital costs, with damage to their body, some permanent, some long lasting. The fear of just death, period. Going through that isn't something that you should have to go through. And this is what a lot of people have to go through now. And Greg Abbott couldn't care less about what's going on. He either wants you to die or does not care if you die. That's basically what's going on here. There is no in between, and things are only getting worse as we're going to tick up. And I can only imagine what it's going to look like in the next couple of months when winter rolls around and people are going to be inside a whole lot more, and it's going to spread a whole lot worse. The Delta variant is horrifying. It transmits in seconds, has a much shorter incubation period. Yep, we're in Plague Inc. right now, and Republicans are playing on the virus's side. There's imposters among us. All right, maybe Greg Abbott isn't a human being. Okay, it's like a fucking Scooby-Doo thing. You like rip the mask off, and it's just like a COVID-19 like virus body under there. He's like, I would have got you too if it wasn't for you meddling doctors. Just jeez, dude, come on. The percentage of hospital beds in use across the state shows that the virus is currently impacting hospitals. 9% of hospitals or more reported incomplete data, falling outside the typical range of missing data. On August 12th, 89% of beds are in use. 89%. My bad, 88.9%. Almost 90%. This is going to start to turn into what we saw during this like big peak here in like early March, February, January, where instead of treating people with COVID, if you got COVID, you were wheeled into a room with other people with COVID and they just like waited until you died and then put you on a freezer truck because they didn't have space for all of these bodies. They were just piling up to the ceiling. That's what it's going to be like. That's the world that Greg Abbott wants, basically. And a lot of other Republicans want, but not all of them. The governor of Mississippi has actually been doing a lot of work to get his people to get vaccinated. The only thing is he's been met with crazy people and a lot of hardcore Republicans who've been lied to this entire time. He did a entire statewide tour to get people to get vaccinated. He's been going around county to county, everywhere in the state to be like, please get vaccinated, please, to do like talks to try and convince people to get vaccinated. He's been impacted. He's been brought to people who are like, I don't want to get the vaccine. It's going to like kill me. It's going to like corrode my cum. It's going to turn me into an alligator. It's wild. It's too late already for lots of these people. They just don't care, or they wear it as a badge of pride to not get the COVID vaccine, not for any other reason, but because they think it triggers the libs. And it's so bad in Mississippi, and I'm touching on these Republican states because they are suffering a lot more than blue states. They are absolutely suffering. In Mississippi, it's gotten so bad that with the hospital system near collapse, Mississippi begs for hospital ship to rescue the state. This, and just so you know, like the hospital ship that they want to send to Mississippi is the hospital ship we send to like fucking Ethiopia and like Somalia. To save people from like malaria and stuff. This is what, and when we have to do this in America, the United States of America already. At the hospital ship, a guy tried to ram a train into. Excuse me? Wait, I didn't see the story. What is this story, bro? Train engineer says he crashed. He crashed in an attempt to attack the Navy hospital ship in LA. For one, how do you ram a train into a boat? What is this like cartoon Dr. Doofenshmirtz villain plan that he had? Yeah, you're right. This is literal terrorism. He tried to sink a ship. Wait. A train engineer told police in LA, they intentionally crashed his locomotive at high speed near the USNS Mercy hospital ship, which seemed to be in a bizarre attempt to expose a perceived conspiracy. Eduardo Morano said he doesn't believe the ship for what it says it is. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles, the freight locomotive was traveling at high speed and when it crashed through barriers, plowed under a highway overpass, and skidded to a stop more than 250 yards from the Mercy. The ship was not harmed during the attempted attack, and no injuries were reported. The Mercy station at Port Los Angeles to help cope with the coronavirus crisis, but Marino told law enforcement officers that the incident Tuesday was because he was suspicious of the military vessel. You only get this one chance. The whole world is watching. I had to. People don't know what's going on here. Now they will. This guy was radicalized? No way. I didn't hear about, how did I not hear about the story? This guy was radicalized by the internet into anti-vaxxing, into being an anti-vaxxer, so much to the point where he tried to commit a terrorist attack by trying to sink a ship trying to provide medicinal aid to Los Angeles. This guy's a literal terrorist. This guy is a literal terrorist. He literally tried to 9/11 a hospital ship, a hospital boat. The boat carries like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle band-aids for your boo-boos. And this is what he's tried to ram a train into? The train smashed into a concrete barrier at the end of the track, smashed into a steel barrier, smashed into a chain link fence, slid in the parking lot. Holy shit. Moreno attempted to flee the scene only to be taken into custody by the highway patrol officer. He hopped out of the train and was like, oh shit, we didn't make it, boys. And then tried to like waddle away. Oh my gosh. Admitting to the driver, the train was off the rail towards the water. The engineer said that he did it out of a desire to wake people up. Wake up. Surging coronavirus cases in Mississippi led state health officials to request the military ship from the Biden administration to prevent the collapse of their healthcare system. The state's director of health protection, Jim Craig, said Mississippi requests the military hospital ship USNS Comfort, which treated ailing patients in New York last year. We began conversations with them. Craig said during a briefing, this is the way you do this. You put in a request for the resources. So the request, the information from the USNS Comfort and or the resources could come and provide assistance to the state of Mississippi. The University of Mississippi Medical Center is treating 127 COVID-19 patients, and 26 of them are 26 of them are kids. Look what they're doing to children. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves previously said that the state needs about 920 healthcare workers due to labor shortages. Honestly, the real challenge is not physical beds, hospital beds, or ICU beds. The challenge in our hospital is not an adequate number of healthcare professionals. Unfortunately, I've advised hospitals through Mississippi have lost nearly 2,000 nurses over the last year, he added. That labor shortage is the most in my bad. There is a labor shortage in most industries throughout the America today, and healthcare is no different. Man, these states treated these nurses so bad they either died or had to quit their jobs, and this is what they're dealing with now. This is the world conservative one, boys. This is the world conservatives want. When considered alongside countries, the U.S. states make up 5 of the 8 worst outbreaks in the world. Oh my gosh. Let's go. US number 1, baby. US number 1. Number 1 through 5. Let's go.
We have 0 ICU beds left for children. That means if your child's in a car wreck, if your child has a congenital heart defect or something, needs an ICU bed, or more likely if they have COVID, need an ICU bed, we don't have one. Your child will wait for another child to die. Your child will just not get on the ventilator. In Dallas.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Continue to fight on the side of public health authorities. And again, I will say over and over, it is tragically ironic that the governor would use his emergency powers to prevent local officials and public health authorities from dealing with the actual emergency. So yeah,
that's what, just so you know, That's what Greg Abbott is fighting against. That's what Greg Abbott and other Republicans are fighting against right there. Getting having children's ICU beds fill up. So they just like leave kids there to die. Yep, that normal Republican things, ladies and gentlemen. Never out of anything. It's sad, okay? For one, I understand that. Sure. But instead of just like dooming, I want you to remember. That's the biggest thing. Remember. Tell people and remember what they did. Tell people and remember. Because what a lot of Republicans work on is getting people, and especially you, to forget and pretend like you can't do anything about it. Because the greatest power, they have as much power as they do, as long as they're not challenged on it. For the people who thought that they couldn't do anything, they had to suffer under like Greg Abbott's rule. For the people who wanted to do something, they went to the court and they won. It's important to remember, tell people about what happened, and what they're doing. You can't just let them get away with it.